Do you know what it's like to be on the bill and to play for 15 minutes and the only people there to see you are the other bands and their girlfriends?
From Buffalo, New York, it's the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast.
Welcome to the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast, where if you do this long enough, you get to record in other people's fancy studios. My name is Ryan Gurnett, and I am feeling quite cozy here at Watchmen Studios.
And I'm Cassidy Dwan. Did you know my rap name is Most Cozy?
I love it. On episode number 87 of the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast, Cassidy and I will be talking with Watchmen Studio owner and engineer and cat enthusiast, Doug White.
He's so many things. Well, first, we're going to talk about some recent projects he's been working on and then get some tips for bands that are coming into the studio. We're going to talk about some horror stories, play some music recorded here at Watchmen Studio, and then play a game of Real Not Real. There's more.
And more.
And more.
But first,
da-da-da, let's not do a me sound effect. I got the thing. It's a bomb. Ryan gets the shit beat out of him.
I kind of, that's hyperbolic in the script, but, so I'm never on this podcast to smear people's names or anything like that, but at the same time, I am here to talk about the struggles that musicians go through.
Sure, so yourself included.
Exactly. So
you don't have a shiner.
No, I actually have some bruising on my arm.
Did you walk away bruised?
I walked away bruised.
Right.
I had some blood coming from out of my part of my finger here. So God, where do you start?
It's like when puppies fight.
So
bandmates, right?
There's a group chat with my band.
Oh no.
We got offered a show on Black Friday. My drummer says, I'm going to be 3 hours away on Thanksgiving. I'm worried about the snow. I don't want to confirm to something if I might have to cancel. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's a reasonable request.
Sure.
The one member of my band did not agree with this and started ranting. In which some part of the rants was like, well, what do I know? I just lived in Western New York all my life. It's like, dude, we all have. What are you talking about? But so the next day we're playing a show at Mohawk Place, and we get there, and this guy's like despondent. Like, I don't know what's wrong. He's not making eye contact. It's one-word answers. So one of the members of my band shows up late because he forgot to bring his Vax card to Mohawk Place.
That's the thing.
Yeah. So we didn't sound check on time. So we sound checked about 30 minutes late. And while one of the other bands was sound checking before us, we all went and got pizza. My singer didn't want to come, or the member of my band who I'm talking about didn't want to come. So we're all getting pizza, and I get a text that's like, "Thanks for making me come this early. This is really fucking boring." And it's like,
dude,
I'm like, that just seems kind of weird thing to get. And even at that point, I told the guys in the band, I'm like, this guy just doesn't seem like he's in a headspace to play tonight. Like, I'm worried. So we get back to the venue. We're all eating our pizza. Everyone is literally having a good time except for this one guy who's sitting by himself. And I'm still confused.
So it wasn't addressed at you so much as personal problems and frustration.
Oh.
No.
We're getting there.
Wait for it.
Yes. So we get called. It's our turn to go up and sound check. And I'm like, fine, we'll get the sound check done. Everything's going to go back to normal. We're all going to take a deep breath. We all love each other. No. As soon as he calls us up for sound check, my singer just beelines right towards me and gets really way too close in my face.
Okay.
And he was like, hey man, and it was basically the same thing he mentioned earlier in the text. And I'm like, dude, well, if he would have brought his Vax card, he would have got here on time and we'd be all set. And then he goes, you're so selfish. At which point, I don't even know how to address that. So I told him, I'm not into your rage stuff, because I know he has an anger problem. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. We're not playing tonight, and I don't want to be in this band anymore.
All artists are troubled.
Absolutely.
But, you got to keep it in check.
So,
and play nice with others.
And then what happened next was I went to disengage. So so this is right in front of the soundboard at Mohawk. I take 2 steps to the left and turn my back to him. I'm about to go up those steps onto the side where that little stage is. And he grabbed me from behind, rushed me up the stage, and slammed me into the wall.
Ugh.
Then I get up, and he pulls that thing where someone gets right in your face, and they're like, come on, man, take a swing, man. And I'm just going to say this for all the men out there. That is the weakest shit ever when someone does that. First off, A, he already attacked me, so if I was going to defend myself, I was already well within my right. But 2, it's like, if you're going to beat the shit out of me, beat the shit out of me. Don't use me taking a swing
But
as you as an excuse.
this is at Mohawk Place.
This is at Mohawk Place. So as he's
How
doing this, I'm just
silly.
smiling in his face, because I know he's not going to do anything past that point. And then the bouncer came, and, you know, one of the good fun parts about being the promoter is I got to say, please remove this man.
Right.
And he was out, and now my band is looking for a new member. So, but yeah, no, I mean, everyone has their problems. And, like, you know, with someone who might have an anger problem, we've had very horrible arguments in the past. Nothing that I ever thought would lead to violence, but things that you could certainly deal with when it's someone, when you know, it's the creative process. It's not going to be perfect. The same thing with your friends or your family.
That's like a level of...
But once it turns physical,
Sure.
like, you can't allow that to be in your space. And that's when it really went from, you know, I'm okay dealing with this to you've crossed the line. So, you know, I could have... You know, I have bruises, I have witnesses, I could have charged him with battery, but I want him to get better. Right. But I just wanted to kind of talk about that as just another story of kind of the insanity of the Buffalo
crazy
music
things
scene.
that happen.
And if you want to sing for a band, you can send me a message. Oddly enough, Doug made a Billy Idol. We talked about Billy Idol briefly before we started filming. My email address is sirwilliamidol@gmail.com.
Right.
So if you're interested in singing in a band with me, you can send stuff there. So now,
putting out some feelers.
Huh?
You're just putting out some feelers.
Why not?
New projects.
So we had a few other things happen. We had Battle of the Buffalo Bassists. Our second annual event, we raised money for the Wilrow Foundation, which
Tell me more about that. Yeah.
They help give money to disabled people who are having trouble paying their bills.
Okay.
Which I think is one of the most noble of causes that we can be doing. Mm-hmm. The event was won by Nate Kelnitz.
All right.
Of Groove Cellar and Fungus of Mungus. Not Fungus Among Us, because that's a different band. This is Fungus of Mungus.
Of Mungus. This is so tricky. Yes.
He dressed up as a wizard. He is an incredible... Like, we had a lot of really, really good, like, performers, but he's really something else as a bass player. Like, if you're looking for lessons or you just want to go out and see someone good, like, try and find Nate, because he's fantastic.
So who won the battle?
Nate won the battle.
Well, there you go.
Yes. We also, Ben Yukonevich from the Scarecrow, formerly of the Scarecrow Show, performed, he played over My Heart Will Go On, which is the third round of the event. We have them play over cheesy songs. He used me as a prop. I was his Kate Winslet with the arms up and my thing back.
You've always been waiting for that moment.
If you can find the YouTube channel of Jammin' Jesse Buckner, he actually recorded the whole event. You can find that on there. I love Jesse. He's a great dude. Also, Ian McCuen returns to Buffalo again. He played at Duende on October 16th. He's coming back on December 30th for a date with Tough Old Bird Tuesday night, and we're going to be adding one more.
Where's that one?
That's going to be at Mohawk Place.
Cool.
As well as we're going to have a new Star Juice show that's going to be announced soon. That's December 22nd at Mohawk Place. I definitely want to mention that. They also played on October 27th at Mohawk with Dead Orchids, Star Juice, and Gunther's Radio, and also Velvet Bethany.
Oh.
I never saw Velvet Bethany. They're so good.
They're so good.
I really enjoyed them.
Allie Mitchell, she used to play as a teenager on Allen Street, and the truth is, she's come a long way, but she was so bravely singing with her voice just like echoing through the streets as a very young and bold force, that I'm glad to see her with a team like that, to be able to... It's not your everyday sounding music. It's like...
Absolutely. It's some tough stuff to play.
Thoughtful. You know, there's a lot going into and hearing the progression of her songwriting and everything, and working with a group like that.
I was just like she's so nice. She's like nice and little. Like when you hear the music, like sometimes you don't know what to expect when you meet the person.
Right.
I was kind of taken aback when I met her because she just didn't look like she doesn't have that.
She's a force, but she doesn't present as the voice. Yeah, totally.
She reminds me of like Jessica Day from New Girl, fronting like a pop punk experimental group, and I love it, and it's fantastic.
Great energy.
Oh man. And also, I don't have a ton of information on this, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Federal agents have seized more than $400,000 from a company linked to the Rapid Theater in Niagara Falls, and a judge has appointed a receiver to temporarily run the venue as creditors try to collect millions of dollars in judgments against owner John Hutchins and his businesses. Jesus Christ.
It's a beautiful venue.
I know. I don't know what's going to happen to it next. I hope nothing. I hope we can keep it open and keep things running. That's horrible.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. So Is there anything you want to talk about before we get into our interview with Doug?
I want to talk about so many things, but I do want to talk to Doug.
All right, and Doug has a lot to say. First, every song we play this episode is going to be something that has been recorded here at Watchmen Studios. So we're going to play one song, and then we're going to get to our interview with Doug. I was so happy to find out that this was recorded here because this is one of my favorite local songs for a while. This is a song by City Powered Radio, who, for Over and Out fans, City Powered Radio was lead singer Rob Stig's band before he was in Over and Out.
All right. When was this recorded?
Ooh, I'm going to guess 2016, 2017.
It's about right.
Yeah, so we're going to listen to, it's called 1990 Living Dead by City Powered Radio, and then we'll be right back with Doug White here on the Struggle is Music, god damn.
You're struggling.
The Struggle is Music, the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music podcast on WNYmusic.com.
Came back.
There's another one for the fire.
You killed the brain, well then you kill the ghoul, and the monster dies. They'll finally get in, and you'll see all your friends, no one will survive. And Ben, I highly doubt that you can save my life. You'd be better off saving your own life. If you killed the brain, well then you killed the ghoul, and the monster dies. They'll finally get in and you'll see all your friends, no one will survive. Ben, I highly doubt that you can save my life. You'd be better off saving your own life. Walk off the porch passing the living dead, you could see their eyes. Open the gas with a loaded shotgun, everyone will die. Ben, I highly doubt that you can save my life. You'd be better off saving your own life. You bunch of yo-yos!
And we are back here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music podcast, and we are joined by Watchmen Studios owner and engineer, Doug White. Hey, Doug.
Thanks.
How's it going? I first want to say, I think, I'm going to gush for a second first. I don't normally gush about recording engineers, but I think you are the most efficient engineer I've ever seen. I came in here with my band, and with 8 hours time, we got we did the drums in 3.5 hours, the vocals we flew through. I really think that's your credit, because, your prices are very affordable to begin with, but the way you use your time, to me, is really incredible, and it's
Thanks. There's a bunch of different ways to approach, a recording where you can sort of rail it through or take your time or get more artsy, and I kind of have different systems for whatever fits the budget. So,
sure. Mm-hmm. But no, yeah, I thought that was a ton of fun. So, tell us about the origins of Watchmen Studio.
Let's see. I went to school at the Art Institute of Atlanta, got my little 2-year degree, came home, not really sure what I was actually going to do, because I was thinking about working for some labels or record companies and this and that. So in the meantime, I worked at Record Theater back in 89, 90, and a friend of mine called me and said, hey, there's this little band in Lockport that wants to do a recording, and I know you got a little bit of recording gear after college. They're called the Watchmen, hardcore band in Buffalo, and I went over and recorded a little demo for them, and then they were like, a week later, hey, we lost our guitar player. Could you fill in? We saw you could play guitar. And I was like, oh, okay. And wham, I was playing the hardcore shows, in the glory days of Buffalo hardcore at the River Rock Cafe and stuff like that. So I did that. And then we put a little studio in my parents' basement, and we and everyone else called it Watchmen Studios because we were the only ones that recorded there. It was
right.
Makes sense.
It was the band's studio.
Yeah.
And did that, and a couple other bands were like, hey, could we get a demo too? That would be cool. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And then a couple other bands were like, hey, we would like a demo. And very organically, it just sort of started to be like, okay, wow, I'm doing a band like every other week, and then it was every week, and maybe by 93, I was like, this probably is what I'm going to do here, you know?
Right.
So, you know, maybe get more serious about it and buy some more gear and then think about, you know, eventually, you know, trying to go commercial with it. So, so it just sort of happened very slowly over the course of 4 or 5 years. By the time I did go commercial here, I already had a client base. See, I had already worked with, you know,
You'd outgrown your parents' basement space.
Yes, and
For sure.
they would be the first to say that, you know.
I'm sure they were
I bet,
thrilled.
yeah.
My parents put up with a lot for 4 or 5 years of
That's awesome, though.
of me tinkering. But when I opened the studio here, where it's been, you know, the calendar already had people on it, so that was good. You know, I think that would probably be the only way to do it. I don't know if you could cold open. You know, a business like this with nobody who really, you know, had been a client before. Pretty tough to cold open. So.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, we had a client base built up, and it's been 26 years here, 5 to 6 days a week, nonstop, and my calendar and my count says that I've recorded about 4,300 bands here since 1995. So
That's incredible.
maybe not the biggest bands in the world, but I would put those numbers up against just about any other studio because that's just an incredible grind nonstop.
I
for
can't
26
even wrap
years.
my head around that number, to be honest.
Yeah, you think about the hours of recorded material then, you know.
About 4,300 roughly bands and projects have come through in 26 years, 6 days a week, nonstop, without a break.
Wow.
So.
And it's just you by and large? Have you
Yes.
had over time assistants or
a couple
interns?
of a couple of times I tinkered with the idea, but it's such a small place and
Sure.
the calendar is ever changing so quick on a dime where a band is switching time and moving things around and switching things out, and it's just kind of tough to properly have like interns or assistants or
Sure.
anything. And also when I did it, I quickly realized like some of my clients are like, who's that guy over there?
Oh, yeah,
Gotta
yeah.
invite them.
Why is he
Right.
here? Why are they here? You know?
He's just standing in the
Yeah,
corner
he's just here to
watching us.
help, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, it wasn't quite feasible. So never really, it's just me.
Well, this is a lovely curated space because you can see how, you know, over the years you've got this collection of ephemera, and you know, as I look around and there's not just the recordings that you've been a part of, but stickers and knickknacks and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, we started putting stickers on the walls so we wouldn't have to paint them.
Sure.
And we wouldn't have to clean them. But
It's custom wallpaper.
yeah, I mean,
Actually,
you
I wanna
know,
do that with my
hanging
kitchen
vinyl
table.
stickers, and just generally, you know, if a band wants to leave their mark a little bit, they can.
Yeah.
So sure.
Do you invite them to, or did they automatically like offer?
If they have a sticker, I usually point them to the wall I'm working on at the time, and I'm like, okay, put it on that wall.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Ryan, you got any stickers?
Of course.
Yes.
Always.
we'll put one up. We'll put one up. Yeah.
We'll get those up. So 4,300 recordings. Do you have a favorite?
Maybe a little handful of favorites, you know.
The top 5 all time
Yeah,
greatest.
yeah. There, you know, there's been some memorable ones over the years, you know, in each genre, whether it be
Sure.
indie rock or metal or hardcore and this and that. There's definitely a handful of favorites, but the favorites usually come down to not necessarily the music, but the people. You know,
Right.
it's like
Completely agree.
some of the best music can be the most difficult people to work with, and some of the worst stuff I've ever recorded. Those people are tons of fun and having a
Yep.
great
Just a joyful
time.
experience, but
Yeah,
you're like,
it's an amazing day. People sometimes ask me like, "Oh boy, what do you do when the band is just terrible?" It's like, we might be having tons of fun being terrible though.
Yeah,
So-
that's
so
it's the best you can hope for in that case.
it's a people job. So when you say like, what's your favorite? Oh, I guess there might be some favorite people that I like to work with.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Sure.
Who over the years has been the most repeat band that you've worked with?
The most repeat band. I have a couple of a lot of my business in the last 4 or 5 years has moved 20-30% of it to solo artists now, because it seems that bands are having a harder and harder time getting 5 guys in the room to practice on Tuesdays at 7. Yeah. The motivation to get together and to really put the work in, the motivation for bands is on the decline, probably due to the lack of return on their investment, But anyways, I have some solo artists that are recording maniacs, like that book every other week here.
Yeah.
Wow.
All year nonstop. Yeah, there's one artist named Jay Knight. He's like that. There's another really talented kid named Dylan Schmidt. He's in here, it seems like 40 times a year. And we do so much material with some of the solo artists. So they're the most repeaters, I guess.
Do you have someone then coming in with their solo project and they want to record the instrumentation, themselves, and it's just about putting that together as a machine?
Whatever it takes. Sometimes it's just them doing it. Sometimes it's me helping out. Like, do you need me to play something? I'll do whatever you need. Sometimes it's nobody's playing anything, and it's just giant libraries of sounds that we're putting together, especially in EDM and stuff like that, where no one's really playing anything. It's just libraries and sequences that eventually will get vocals.
Right.
So all of the above.
As a recording engineer, sorry, I have so many questions. As a recording engineer, do you find yourself with a weapon of choice lending an instrument, like naturally? What's your go-to?
I'm a guitar player
Okay.
at heart, so if I'm trying to figure out key on harmonies and things like that, I'll usually default to the guitar as
Sure.
the weapon of choice. Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, play a little bit of keyboards, but the guitar is always close at hand, so right above your head. There you go.
That's the go-to one right there.
Yep.
Not gonna lie, I took my hat off and hit it. So, if I was a solo artist and I'm listening to this podcast and I'm interested in working with you, how much is it for 8 hours here typically?
It's $35 an hour, mixing, mastering, or tracking. So it doesn't really matter what we're doing. It's a straight $35 an hour. So an 8-hour block is $280, and we run 5 to 6 days a week, 10 a.m. to 6.
Cool.
Yeah, straight up 10 a.m. to 6 hours, $35 an hour. You just pay for what you use.
Sure. Now,
That's a very reasonable rate for your time and talent.
It's a great rate.
There's
for the
two ways to
studio.
run a recording studio. You can run high end and boutique and make it more of a premier boutique place with a higher rate.
Like you offer a spa treatment in the middle of the session or
But
something?
what it comes down to is you start working with fewer artists versus a cheap rate which fills the calendar.
Right.
So in this business, I've always felt super comfortable just having a really packed calendar because the rate's reasonable. It's $35 an hour, but I think that's pretty good for around here. I mean, this is not LA. We're not in New York here. We're in Lockport, and that's probably about right. So
I appreciate the accessibility of that.
Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, there's places in the city, like even in the city, where people will swear by that's twice that, and
Absolutely.
I don't know what they could possibly do that's twice as better as working here. Like they all, it's all the same mics, it's all the same, some of the equipment's higher end than others, but at the same time, it's the person who's sitting behind the board who's doing the work.
with a cheaper rate, you open yourselves up to a lot more of garage bands and low budget bands that can also get in. And it fills the calendar up, keeps you busy, and frankly makes for a more stable job. Versus when you're a very, very boutique studio like in Los Angeles, right? Maybe $100 an hour, right? You're probably only working with 1 or 2 clients a month because that's a big budget. If 1 or 2 of those clients have a tour offer or need to change their time, or you're not working at all,
Right.
man.
It's a big fall off.
With me, it's like if a band cancels or drops out or needs to change some time because of a member change or whatever, it's a quick phone call to fill the time.
Yeah,
so
I hadn't thought of that too.
Yeah.
That's smart.
It feels comfortable.
So if I'm a solo artist and I'm coming in here and I want Doug White to help me with the demo, what would you recommend they prepare for? Like, because a lot of people come into the studio the first time and they don't know what to expect. What would you recommend?
Well, as a solo artist, it depends on how you like to work. Some of the best stuff I've done with solo artists is when they came in with almost nothing. and we had a vague idea that we just built right on the spot. Some people are not comfortable with that. Some people really do need to plan it out and really prefer that. Some people can work by feel, and other people work by notes. And if you can work by feel and be happy with it, you don't need to come in with much. Come in with an idea, and we'll build it right here on the spot. Where some people, sure, prepare the song as best you can with as most detail that you can possibly think of, and then we'll execute that if that's the way you like to work.
Sure. I now, because the podcast is called The Struggle is Real. Can you give me a good horror story?
Anecdotally, without dropping anyone,
I always tell
anyone
people
under the bus.
they don't have to name names, but they can if they want to.
Like horror story from the studio session itself.
Oh yeah, I mean it could be anything. I mean, I had a guy offer to pay me in cocaine once. I had a guy who insisted on playing with his the kick drum on his drum set backwards. I'm sure you've seen a lot of things not done right.
There was one time where we got to the end of a big day. It was probably about $280, $300 day, and they discovered there wasn't money in their account. Ooh. But they offered to use their food stamps to buy steaks for me and meat.
Oh, dear.
I mean, that's better than cocaine, at least.
I said it's fine, we can figure it out later. But no, they went and got me some steaks.
Put
and
them in the deep freeze.
I was
ready to
paid in meat.
eat good.
That was fun.
That's a new one. I have not heard of that before.
Other horror stories I've had. I've had a few screamers and bands pass out.
No way. You say a few as though, a few?
From screaming.
Did anyone need to be hospitalized from this
No
screaming?
one hospitalized. I've had a few fainters,
man.
from screaming so
You
loud.
need to record video, because I just want to see a compilation video of screamers passing out.
Death metal screaming and the whoop.
I could wake up and watch that every morning.
I mean, as long as they revive, it's funny.
Mood.
Yeah, I've had a few.
Yeah, as long as
fainters.
no one's hurt, it's hilarious.
That's right.
I've had a couple of pukers too.
Oh,
a couple of those guys.
Anyway, has you ever had like puke ruin a microphone before?
No, it wasn't on the mic. It wasn't on the mic, but it was sort of a mad dash to the bathroom, sir.
Do you make these people sign liability waivers to work with your equipment and not puke on things?
Scream at your own risk, I guess, is what it would be. Yeah.
So now if I'm coming in here with a band, you've probably seen bands fight in the studio a lot.
Yeah, sometimes I can be referee,
And even when I was in here, when we were talking about using a click track, you were a good mediator between everything.
Yeah,
You seem like a peacemaker, but as your job is to get shit done, you almost have to be the adult in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
because
you
everyone else
absolutely
is
do.
so emotional and nerves and everything else.
After I got out of college, I realized really quickly that this job is 10% technical and 90% dealing with people, musicians, and their art.
Yeah.
The button pushing is nothing. It's really not a big deal. There's plenty of YouTube videos to show you how to do what. But when you're going from radically different personalities from day to day to day, playing radically different music, you got to kind of roll with all of them and know what works for one person is not what's going to work for the next person. Being very, very flexible with your level of pickiness, being very, very flexible with your level of being precise and your knowing how hard to push certain people and leave other people alone. You want to get the best performance out of it, but you don't want to grind them into the ground either. So knowing how to pick your battles on ideas and knowing how to pick your battles on better performances and better takes when to leave it alone. That's the art of recording, way more than like, oh, I'm an engineer and I know how to push buttons on my board and stuff. That's really not a big deal. So it's
very well put.
It's a very human job, humanizing type job,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think people don't even realize the drastic jump that you get even going from like live sound to studio sound because of that.
Sure.
Live sound doesn't matter if the band's getting along. That's not your job. You just got to have all the mics on and make. But when you're in the studio, like you do have to play referee, and I think a lot of people don't realize that when they get into this, they just want to do the recording stuff, but they don't know how to manage their people, and you can end up. That's how you take. I had one guy, he charged $75 a song, which, by the way, don't charge per song.
No,
unless you really
never.
know, unless you
Right.
really
Never.
know what you're getting into.
That could be
Like,
a really bad bet.
Someone is getting taken advantage of when you do per song. It might be the engineer or it might be the artist. It can be both.
and in this case, the engineer was the one being taken advantage of because he wasn't taking the time to play referee and he was letting things spiral out of control.
I've recorded acoustic guys who set up their guitar and sing and play and do a song in 4 minutes.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's not $75.
one take.
That's not $75, you know. And I've had other people that have spent, 10 days on a song, you know.
My God.
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
been there. That's the worst.
So no, you gotta go hourly and leave it up to the client on how much you want to put into this.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It's up to them. So
Do you feel like when you listen, well, firstly, do you ever find yourself going back and listening to things that you recorded?
a little bit, yeah, referencing back on things. Sometimes bands who have been with me for many, many years, they'll say to me like, geez, on the third record we did this or that, and we were kind of hoping for this or maybe not that, and we'll go back and reference and kind of listen to
Sure.
what'd we do back in 2004, and so going back and listening for reference purposes, sure, yeah.
I wondered if it takes you right back to the energy in the room from that recording session.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't remember names that well, but you can play me a song out of the thousands of CDs, and I'll have a vague memory of what was going on that day. It's funny. Can't tell you anyone's name who was in, but I can remember the song, and I'll instantly remember like, oh, the drummer had a hard time that day or something
Sure.
like that. Yeah. It'll just come to me out of thousands and thousands of sessions. I'll remember a little
It's
something.
like how you can have a photographic memory or you can have an auditory
Auditory
right?
memory. That could be it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any equipment you want to brag about while we've got a few minutes
You
left?
have a
Any
collection of
cool stuff at the
lots of
studio?
Lots of gear here.
Sell me.
The thing about equipment in studios these days is, back in the 80s and early 90s, a lot of bands would pick a studio because of the gear.
Oh,
It's like,
absolutely.
oh, they have this board, or oh, they got this. The equipment now, it's kind of all the same. I mean, it's all
Yeah.
digital. It's it's all decent. This studio has a nice little head collection, a guitar head collection.
Yes,
I have
definitely.
Marshalls and Ingles and 5150s.
I was really happy with the way my bass
I have
sounded.
oranges and Fenders, and I think that's a pretty good selling point to the studio as far as gear goes. Because if I show a band member my fancy new DBX compressor, I don't think they're really like that excited about
not
it.
their kind of toy.
No,
Yeah,
but I can
that's a
show
good
them
point.
the amps and the I can show them the amps and the heads that I have here, and they're like, "Oh wow, that's a big variety of stuff. Are we welcome to use it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's all here for you. So whatever you want to do."
Nice.
Yeah, or they can bring their own and use that too. So
Have you? What's the strangest instrumentation you've tackled? Like, has anyone come in
That's what I was gonna ask.
with a weird?
well, I've had
requested
didgeridoos in.
Yeah.
I've had hurdy-gurdies in.
The hurdy-gurdy.
Hurdy-gurdies. I've had didgeridoos. I've had a few performance sound artists in.
Okay.
That have brought in cardboard boxes full of pots and pans and paper and tins and set up everything on a table, and I put mics in the room, and they just sort of like rattled things and then banged on things for 10 minutes, and they would come in and listen and go, "Oh, I gotta do that again. No, that's no good." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah."
Well, what were you going for?
What were
right?
you going for? And they're like, I rattled that pot and pan way too fast. It's like, all right, sure.
But I appreciate the analog of it. I got a little clumped. The analog nature of designing those sounds like that instead of like finding it tracked.
Yeah, I've
Absolutely.
performance audio that isn't particularly a song at all. I stay away completely from books on tape, and I stay away completely from almost all commercial jingle stuff. Not
Because of bad
yeah.
experiences?
definitely with books on tape.
Yeah.
Those are brutal.
Books on tape is unbelievably time consuming and unbelievably difficult to do. It's a different set of rules, and it's a completely different mindset. I mean, when you do books on tape, and I've done a couple in the past, and I said, nah, that's not for me. You'll have the talent read a book, and he might say, "See the dog run," and then you send that to the publisher, and there's 150 changes where they want, see the dog run,
Right.
You know, and then you have to go back
Hurts
in.
my soul.
You have to go back in with the same mic and the same sound on a different day and plug that in seamlessly.
Because they put the emphasis on the
Yes,
syllable.
the different emphasizing different words and stuff, and then you don't get paid because you have to invoice the publisher for a 60-day net.
That sounds painstaking.
It is. So I was like, I'd rather be a Dollar
And
General.
why, when you
Yeah.
have your calendar
Yeah,
filled with
yeah.
local artists to work with?
And jingle work too. You know, jingle work is kind of like, okay. It's not a lot of art here.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think that would drive
So
me crazy.
I'm
The
lucky enough
corporate
to
vision versus the artist vision.
Yeah,
You can
I'm
pick
lucky
your
enough to be
battle.
able to. I only like to. It's another reason I don't do books on tape really, and I don't do jingles, and I've always steered away from major label stuff as much as I can. I've been dragged into it a couple of times, but you're on all three of those situations. You're answering to suits and ties on the
Right.
phone.
Yes.
Okay. And when the suits and ties tell me, oh, geez, you know, we're going to take out the keyboard in the bridge, I always think like, well, what does the band think about taking the keyboard out of the bridge? Oh, well, it doesn't really matter. You know, just do it. And I only care about what the band or the artist wants to do. I don't, you know, the suits and ties, you know, but when the suits and ties are sending the check, now there you go. That's a whole different game. It's because the band isn't paying you, the suits and ties are. So now you're aiming to please.
Yeah,
so
that sounds way too.
The
stressful.
marketing
You might as
machine's
well
vision.
work a regular office job.
it
then,
gets
right?
it gets
Kinda.
close.
Absolutely, but we're out of time. Doug, we could fill 8 more episodes with Doug. So
sure.
we're gonna play another song from the studio, and then we're gonna play a game with him. So the song we're gonna play, I'm gonna pull open my script here. It's called Galaxy Wide. It was originally, the group was called Monkey Brothers, but they are now known as Broz. I'm guessing that's Broz, B-R-O-Z.
Bros before hoes.
2099. I really like this track. Is there anything you remember about it? It's like a rock rap track. It really jumped out at me. I'd never heard him before, but I really dug it.
Oh yeah, no, that's good stuff. I think AJ Amherst is on that, so he's always good. So yeah, that's great.
Cool. So we're gonna listen to that, and then we'll be right back with a game of Real Not Real here
Real Not Real.
on the Struggle Is Real Buffalo Music Podcast on WesternNewYorkMusic.com.
Yeah, that's right. Monkey Brothers in the house. Still broadcasting live. Galaxy wide. The Monkey Brothers ship has landed. You know how we do about this time. Let's get it going, Rag family. Come on. Would you believe me if I told you that we have the power to change the world if we wanted that? We can broadcast good vibes, galaxy wide, and get the universe high. First contact, have a swallow rags, yeah, let's do it again. Non-stop hip-hops, cause we brew it again. Watchmen, I'm the mouse, so producing again. Monkey Brothers in the house, yeah, you know what we about.
Tonight, I shine, galaxy wide.
And I know that time ain't waiting on me.
Tonight, we shine, galaxy wide.
Wake up and face the world. We got the power, we got the power. Shape up and change the world. We got the power, we got the power. Wake up and face the world. We got the power, we got the power. Shape up and change the world. We got the power, we got the power. Could you believe me if I let you know that we are beings from the sky and everybody glows, and we can change our lives for the better, yo. Just open up your mind and let it go, let it flow, get it, bro. It all starts today, and everything we did led us to this place. Let's erase the waste and claim ourselves. Forget work, do your job, you don't stay for them.
Tonight, I shine, galaxy wide.
And I know that time ain't waiting on me.
Tonight, we shine, galaxy wide.
And I know my life ain't waiting on me.
Tonight, I shine, galaxy wide.
And I know this time I'm changing, I'm free.
Tonight, we shine, galaxy wide.
Wake up and face the world. We got the power, we got the power. Shape up and change the world. We got the power, we got the power. Wake up and face the world. We got the power, we got the power. Shape up and change the world. We got the power, we got the power. Because finally, everything has changed. Can you see it now? These walls we put up in our minds to hold ourselves back, they no longer exist.
What you know about living your life? What you know about doing what's right? What you know about living your life? What you know about doing what's right? What you know about living your life? What you know about doing what's right? What you know about living your life? What you know about doing what's right? What you know about living your life? What you know about doing what's right? What you know about living your life? What you know about doing what's right? Wake up and face the world. We got the power, we got the power. Shake up and change the world. We got the power, we got the power. Wake up and face the world. We got the power, we got the power. Shake up and change the world. We got the power, we got the power. Wake up and face the world. We got the power, we got the power. Shake up and change the world. We got the power, we got the power. Wake up and face the world. We got the power, we got the power. Shake up and change the world. We got the power, we got the power.
All right. And we are back here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast. That was Galaxy Wide by Monkey Brothers, now known as Broz 2099. So, we're going to play a game. Doug, this is called Real Not Real 1-Star Studio Reviews. I scoured the internet and found 1-star recording studio reviews. So 5 of them on this list are real, and 5 of them I made up. If you can give me 6 correct answers...
What happens if he wins, folks?
There's a good prize.
Yeah.
And what happens if he loses?
What happens if he loses?
There's a bad prize.
Yeah.
But there's always a prize.
A prize for everyone.
Excellent. Are you going to keep score?
A participation trophy.
Can you remember 2 numbers in your head?
I can remember numbers, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Number 1.
Sure.
What kind of recording studio just gives out alcohol? By the time I was recording my by the time I was done recording my drum tracks, my singer was so drunk that he kept saying his headphones didn't work. Meanwhile, the headphones were so loud they were bleeding into his microphone. Managing your artist is important. Is that real or fake?
I think that's real.
That is fake.
That's fake.
Yes.
Oh, that could happen in some places though.
I love the idea of a band getting drunk and then blaming it on the engineer. That was where that came
Right.
from. That just seemed brilliant to me.
Ryan also prides himself on when the fakes can push through as real.
True.
So.
Yeah, I do like this.
Very good.
All right, number 2. The kid who answers the phone is one of the awful engineers who can't work overtime, weekends, special holidays because he, quote unquote, wants to be with his mother? How professional. He couldn't get back to me with other engineers there and can't be trusted to not delete takes and files. He is clueless. Utterly dumb as dog shit. Avoid at all costs.
I would think that's fake because the young engineer is the one that has to work the bad hours.
Is that your answer?
Yes.
You're incorrect. That I'm not going to name the name. That was actually for a local recording studio.
Okay.
I found
all
that
right,
one.
Okay.
Like posted as a review.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right.
These are all real.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got 2 wrong.
All right, but there's still time, Doug.
There's hope.
We can do
All right,
this. You
all
can
right.
turn it around. This is a long one. So disappointed and disgusting by the employees of this place. We wrap up the session and just walk out. I would ask for a refund, but I see you guys clearly have that cover. The studio is decorated nicely, the equipment is top-notch, but the service here I wouldn't give an 1/8 of a star. I'm not wanting people to bend over backwards for some ridiculous request. Just can I receive basic service I paid for? Keynote, if you are greeting someone, you shouldn't take your time and arrive reeking of marijuana. The impression I'm getting is that all the employees are sitting around getting high and taking money from clients. I'm not here to talk about how to run a company, but damn, professionalism here is severely lacking. My experience here, and from the look up from the website, you would think they're at 2 different companies. Viewing the site before booking, they gave you a great vibe. Somewhat enjoyable awaits you. You arrive and realize it's all a facade. Real or fake?
That sounds like it could be quite real.
That is real.
Got it.
Way too much detail for that one.
Way too much detail.
All right.
However, it sounds like the web designer for that particular studio
Is
did
on
a
the
great
ball.
job. Yeah.
Yeah. Good job with your advertising,
Good job.
buddy. That guy deserves a raise. All right. It caters to the niche market of musicians who want to record an LP and then be murdered and buried in a shallow grave, never to have their remains located, let alone identified. Very niche.
I'm gonna say fake.
That is fake.
Fake on that. Yeah.
That was actually that was a review I did if a recording studio was in the house at the end of the Blair Witch Project.
Okay, very creative, very creative.
I was
We
in a
got
mood.
2 and 2 for Doug.
I was in a mood today. All right. Imagine, fellow producers and sane others, a scenario where you walk into your local Best Buy or Target to return an item. You approach the counter, explain your issue, and ask to return that item. At that point, the clerk approves the return and accepts the item. You wait patiently, very patiently, for the clerk to finish the second part of the transaction and issue the refund, yet none is given. When you ask the clerk where your money is, they tell you, working on it. Now, you're a smart fella or lady, so you know it takes mere minutes in the modern electronic age to issue a refund. What can be the holdup, you ponder? Ask again about your refund and the clerk walks away. What? What just happened here? Did they just take both my money and their item back? I mean, in most states, such action could and is perceived as a criminal act. In fact, if one were to commit such an act across state lines, it would be a federal criminal act. If this story seems impossible, do you think again? I'm living it. Right now. With this recording studio, you say, wow, that's surprising. I thought they were a solid company with a good reputation for years now. Me too. Until this. In a proper business, you do not offer refunds, accept the products, and never issue the refund. You do not close support tickets with no response. You do not ignore emails that you requested to be sent on said issue. If there's anyone at this company who believes that such behavior is not representative of your business practices or customer services, speak up. I'm all ears. I've been so for 30 days now.
Oh.
True.
Yes. I just wanted to read it like that.
That was actually great.
I think at some point I just want to find the best 1-star reviews of anything music related and just find a couple Shakespearean actors to really read them out.
Dude, that was epic.
Whew. Gotta catch my breath there.
And I like how you edited the name of the recording studio in real time. That was great.
On the ball.
You're on the fly.
All right, so 3 right and 2 wrong, I think?
Yeah.
Doug, you're doing it.
Winning.
All right, number 6. Maybe hipster-type studios are supposed to be nasty and run by people who are products of an anal birth. The place resembled a bunghole, messy and trash strewn everywhere. The staff guy was rude as hell, and I seriously hope the talking shitbird goes out of business before his attitude infects anyone else.
That sounds like it could be true.
That is real. Oh, anal birth. Oh, man.
There's a lot going on here. Bungholes. My kid would really appreciate.
I can't get over anal birth. I really that's a new one for me. I haven't heard that
That's
before.
gonna be your go-to insult now.
Yeah. Stay away from me, or you know what I'm gonna call you. So 4 right and 2 wrong, right?
He's winning.
You're doing this, Doug. Number 7. I booked time with the engineer. He told me he had access to a nicer studio and an amazing co-engineer who would also help. The co-engineer didn't show up. He knew the room. The engineer did not. But he can engineer, so he just did it, so it wasn't a complete waste of everyone's time. It ended up being anyway. They spent hours trying to get SMPTE to work with a little Mac SE30. Nothing was working, and the studio owner is one who has a light sense of humor, and without tact came in and said, "Oh, sorry, nothing is working here," and... page... And the engineer didn't show up. Studio time is free then, but I gotta go get some cocaine.
I'm going to say true.
That one is false.
That's false. Okay.
I'm pretty proud. That one, yeah.
I'm impressed with the SMPTE time code.
Thank you. The details. It's always in the details. All right, so 5 right and 3 wrong?
4 and 3.
4 and 3. All right. 3 left. You gotta get 2 right. Number 8. Be careful. Gunshots go live in this bitch.
That's all we got.
I'm going to say false.
That is true.
Oh, no.
That was somewhere in California.
Okay.
It's not funny, but it's funny.
It's funny. Oh, man. All right.
4 and 4, though.
4 and 4. This is tight now.
I love when it gets to the nitty-gritty like this.
I think we need to get like tense music to put in the background for these in the future. I'm going to work on that. All right. After 20 takes, my drums still don't sound right. I don't get it. The engineer is supposed to make us sound awesome. Why don't we sound awesome? If $350 can't make us sound like fucking Dave Matthews Band, then what is the point? I could do a better job in my basement with string, tin cans, and a fucking answering machine from the 1980s.
True.
That is false!
Oh.
But that was a good one, Ryan.
That was good, though.
Poor musicianship blaming the engineer again.
Yeah.
So you've already lost, but you still get a good prize, and I'm just going to ask you the
No,
last
he gets
one
a
because
prize. It won't be a good prize.
a bad prize. I meant to say.
Yeah, that's right.
They're all. I mean, don't look a gift prize in the mouth. All right, number 10. How the fuck am I supposed to sound like Tom Waits if I'm not allowed to smoke cigarettes in this fucking studio? The artists who have influenced me would never have accepted bullshit rules like this, obscuring the creative process.
That could be true.
That is fake.
That's fake. Okay.
I did find that wasn't the one but I was looking through like Nightmare Studio experiences, and one guy just put he wouldn't let us smoke.
And you took that and ran with it.
Someone
Very
has to.
creative, Ryan.
Yes. So, Doug, thanks for playing.
Thanks for playing along, Duck.
Oh, let's
Thank
see.
you.
Let's
Thanks.
find a mediocre
What do we have
prize.
for him? What's in the bag?
Oh man, that's a great. I literally don't know what's in the bag. It's been a while.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
He's got all kinds of weird stuff in the bag.
Honestly, we're running out of bad prizes.
That's a bad thing.
Okay. Let's see. I have a set of T-shirts for Doug.
Bad T-shirts?
No. We have this white T-shirt that says that this is your shirt, and it says "The Boss." Here, I'll hold it up to the camera.
Oh, that's a good one
And then
for you.
it comes with a.
Come on, Ryan, use your strength.
I can't use something I don't have, Cassidy. And then the shirt that goes with the wife that says "The Real Boss."
Oh,
Nice. Very nice. Thank you.
Cute.
It was
Thank you.
definitely a present that was given to me at the wrong time.
you got the bad prize, but
Congratulations
it's a cool
on your bad prize, Doug.
Thank you.
I
Thank
hope they
you.
fit. I believe they're from Wish.com.
Well, he's gotten his wish.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
All right, so we'll be back with one more segment. Next, we're gonna play "Bird in the Window Pane" by the Safety Meeting. Do you remember recording with the Safety Meeting?
I do.
I
Yeah.
think that was pretty recent.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Anything stand out from your time with them that you remember?
I think
or-
it was a pretty smooth session.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that went pretty smooth.
No, we've had him on a few shows. I really like him. Julian, for those who don't know, also sings in Unleash the Lion, which is the Pearl Jam
yes.
cover band.
Julian Bergio.
Yep, and you can definitely you can definitely hear that
He's-
influence in the
he's
music.
here Tuesday.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, no, I really like what they're doing, and the lineup they have is great. Kevin Sampson is playing bass, and TJ Cottajar from Days Ago is playing drums. I think they've got a really great
Sounds
lineup.
good.
So, yeah, so check out "Bird in the Window Pane" by the Safety Meeting, and we'll be right back here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast on WesternNewYorkMusic.com.
Like a bird from a cage, hope to one day escape.
And we are back here on the Struggle is Real Buffalo Music Podcast. That was Bird in the Window Pane by the Safety Meeting. Doug, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for having us in your great studio.
Thanks for having me.
Where can people find you online if they want to book time?
My personal Facebook page, which is actually facebook.com/Watchmen Studios. It's actually my personal page. It's always best just to DM me there. And,
Perfect.
And also, I have to plug our cat Instagram.
Oh, yes, please.
Our cat Instagram is Catio Living, CATIO Living on Instagram, and that's our cat page.
Yes,
and it's really cool.
That was mentioned on Animal Planet you showed us. That's fantastic. Doug has some crazy cat stuff going on here. I see. Is that going to be your retirement business?
Yeah, the recording thing's just a stepping stone to being a cat mogul.
A cat empire. I like this.
He's built the Garden of Eden for cats. This is something.
Excellent.
Right.
All right. So that's all we have for episode number 87.
87 episodes.
So tune in around December 15th for episode number 88. That'll be our last episode of the year. We're going to talk about all of our favorite songs, albums, performances from 2021. And then on January 1st, we'll be putting together our best of 2021 episode, which is all clips and stuff like that. And then we'll see you again on January 15th. Cassidy and I also have a spin-off podcast called The Struggle is Real, our favorite albums. The first episode of that we recorded with Brian Dubé at the Daily Planet 2 Thursdays ago. And we'll have that episode out a little after December 1st. The next episode is going to be recorded on the third Thursday of December, which I believe is the 19th.
18th? 19th?
Something like that.
One
We're
of those
recording at
days.
the Daily Planet. We're going to have Lone Star Sailing.
Nice.
They're going to come and talk about their self-titled album from, I believe, 2017 called Lone Star Sailing. So we're going to talk about that. And, there's so much stuff. Yes. So I just want to thank my great team, Cassidy, Brandon, John, everyone else for everything they do to help out. And just remember, folks, everyone's struggling now. So please be kind to each other and keep on struggling.
And let me just say what nobody else wants to say to you. Your looks have become a problem.